What's going on, everybody? We got one from modern dating perspective. Modern women are doomed. New anti-paternity fraud law gets passed. Let's get into it.
He's talking about mandatory paternity tests at birth. I mean, look, I'm a part of the Jerry Springer generation. So, of course, I know that there are women out there that don't know who the baby daddy is or want the baby daddy to be one guy and she just has a whole bunch of men splooging inside of her, which, might say more about the men than it does about her, but I digress. I just wanted to point out that I think it's funny that he says things like women won't be able to pick the baby daddy during a time when rapists get to rightfully now be baby daddies.
Wow. Okay. So women are out here accidentally forgetting who the baby daddy is. I guess if you've slept with 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 guys in a weekend, I'm sure you're not going to know who the baby daddy is. But I love how we're comparing women who pick baby daddies like they're in a buffet line of bad decisions. Let's not forget 33% of men who suspect they aren't the fathers turn out to be right after paternity tests. But hey, why not give women a power to pick the ideal dad, even if some guy who is only in the picture because he walked past the house once. And rapist gets rights? You're going to an extreme case there. Perfect. Exactly what we need. More dumpster fires, right? Next.
I think it's funny how a lot of women will say that men lie and men are pieces of shit, but why is it that 26.9% of all women have lied about paternity? Meaning they've actually pinned a child on a father that isn't theirs. And most of them have admitted doing this because they pick the more suitable father out of the men that they've been cheating with. Additionally, another study was done in the UK that 1 in 10 women don't know who the biological father is and they just take a guess. These men actually grow bonds with their children and raise them and fall in love with them, and then they ultimately find out that the child is not theirs. How sick do you have to be to do that to a man, but also to do that to your own child? It's absolutely diabolical. And the worst part about it is there's little to no consequences to the women that do this. In fact, they might get a slap on the wrist or have to pay a fine, and that's only if the father wants to sue, and most of the men don't go after her or don't do anything because they don't have the financial means to fight it in court. I mean, do what you will with this information.
26.9% of women lie about paternity. Like, imagine picking your baby daddy the way you pick an Uber ride, But, men are the real liars, right? Sure. I'll buy that. Meanwhile, we've got 1 in 10 women who don't even know who the baby daddy is, according to the statistics in England. They're not confused. They're just playing this stupid game, knowing the system's rigged in their favor. And the best part, there's no real consequences to this. They can walk away with zero accountability while the guy's stuck with playing daddy to a kid that isn't even his. Bravo, society. Real feminism in action here.
Mr. Willis, what brings you in the courtroom today?
I have been wondering for a long time about whether these children, we have 3 children, whether they're mine or not, they're all so ugly and they don't look like me. I'm a real handsome dude and these kids look like they come right off the street.
Okay, Mrs. Willis.
Yes.
I mean, y'all have been together for a long time. What is your take on it?
We've been together for over 50 years.
Wow, 50 years. And you sitting in front of me today.
And I married a man. I mean, is he anything to look at?
I mean, he must have been. You've been with him long enough now.
Well, I
Ms.
married
Willis.
him for his...
I'm sorry, but the lady in back right here, I don't know if the mouse is going to show up. Nope. There's a lady right behind the old lady there in the red shirt. She's just cracking me up.
personality, not his looks.
Ooh, well, some personality here.
And he says my kids aren't good looking. Well, ugly men make ugly children, honey. These are your kids. I mean, you think just because you traveled so damn much that I was fooling around? Hell, I was home with the kids.
Well, when I came home, you were kind of messed up a couple times.
What does that mean, messed up?
Well, you know. And then once I came home...
I had my period. I mean, come on.
What? Wait a minute.
You think you just walk in the house
Wait, you
nookie?
Okay, you gotta watch what you say in my courtroom now,
I
Mrs.
said I
Willis.
had my period. What's wrong with
I know.
saying that?
I need order. I need order in my court.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, everybody is speaking out of turn. Everything is going every which way now. I need some order in here.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
you know, one time I came home and I pulled in the front driveway and I saw this car down the street take off because somebody came out the back door.
It was the repairman. I told you the washing machine was broken.
You told me it was the postman.
No, that was the other time.
Mrs. Willis. I mean, so do he have any, is it any doubt in your mind that these kids, all three of them, not one, not two, but all three of them is not his?
They're his kids. I mean,
All right, Mr. Willis. Now, do you hope these kids are yours?
Yeah, I mean, even though they're ugly, because if they weren't mine, I would have just been pissing my money away all these years taking care of those little brats.
Oh, okay.
that's, you know, I don't get this, because if I was going to fool around while you were gone, don't you think I would have picked some good-looking men that look better than you do?
No.
Okay, all right. Who brought y'all here today? What brought y'all?
Well, he did. He watches this crap on TV. He said, I want to go to one of those courtrooms and prove that these brats aren't mine. I don't think they're brats. I think they're wonderful kids. And I don't think they're ugly.
So
But-
that
Well, you know, I've seen all these great results, and I want to prove it because if they aren't mine, I've had it.
you had.
What do
so
you mean
doing?
you had
you
it?
prepared.
Wait a minute. We've been together over 50 years, and you're going to walk out the door. Look, you won't even look at me.
I got a nice young lady waiting out there.
Oh, wait. So you prepare. So you telling me after 50 years you gonna walk with this young lady you claim you got waiting in the bushes somewhere, but you talked about her with the milkman and the plumber and everybody else, but you got this young thing waiting on you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We need some.
Sure.
We're gonna have to get down to the bottom
I
of
don't-
this, and I mean fast at this point.
I got to cover myself.
Cover yourself.
Oh.
Seemed like you should have been covering back then and not right now.
You know, if you'd stayed home, you wouldn't have this question in your mind.
I had too much fun not staying home.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? I'm not finna keep going back and forth. I'm finna go ahead and get down to these results. All right, guys, I got these results in my hand. Is there any final words that you wanna get out before I read these results?
I don't know why we're here. We've been together all this time. You traveled a lot. You think I was fooling around. I think you were probably fooling around when you were on the road.
That's
I
not
bet
true.
there's some ugly
If
kids
these
out there
kids,
that belong to
I don't want
you.
these kids around me if they're not mine.
Honey, you've raised them.
Well, yeah.
Don't you love them?
They're,
I mean, you call them ugly. This is just
they get in my way.
Oh,
wrong. This is just
well,
wrong.
you know what? I done had a time in here with you guys today, and I'm gonna go ahead and get y'all out my hair.
Yeah, tell
So-
them. They're my kids. I mean, they're your kids.
All right. The results reads as follow. First child, Mr. Willis, you are not the father.
That's what I figured.
No. Oh, that's good.
Mrs.
No,
Willis.
that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong.
Second child,
That's got to be. It's a mistake.
Mr. Willis, you are not the father.
You are reading someone else's file. This can't
So
be true.
I have a mailman and a plumber.
Oh my God! Oh wait! No. Hey!
I'm sorry.
Words.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I just.
Child 3, Mr. Willis. I pray and I hope,
Please.
but you are not the father. Oh my God!
Honey, I love you. Don't leave me. You love those kids.
Thank you, Honor. I will see you around. I told you those kids were ugly.
You're
and they don't look.
You're ugly. That's why they're ugly.
They
They're
look
your
just like
kids.
the mailman.
That's all wrong.
You know, this is definitely a skit, but there is a lot of truth to it here. You know, so Mr. Willis here has doubts because, surprise, surprise, his kids are uglier than the ex's moral compass. But look, I get it. 50 years together, 3 kids later, and you still got to wonder the mailman delivered more than just the mail. And she's over here saying, I picked you for your personality. Bullshit. Because nothing says romance like personality when the kids look like they've been assembled by a random handyman. But hey, if the ugly kids don't convince you, DNA results do. And spoiler alert, not the father. Shocker. Again, I'm certain this is a skit, but there is a whole lot of truth here. There are men out here fathering kids, believing that's them, and then finding out 10, 15, 20, 30 years later that they're his kids. Although it was pretty entertaining. Anyways, next.
Don't swipe now. Come back here. Hey, ladies, did you know that paternity fraud is now a crime? Yeah, let's talk about House Bill 2689, because they locking y'all up.
I'm going to make my money one way or another. Even if that means locking you up, I'll make my money off of you being locked up. Please peep the game.
Oh, yeah. And this hookup culture? Oh, yeah, that's a wrap, because they're making it so you can no longer get child support off of one-night stands. If that man wasn't in your life, let me tell you.
Not only are they making it mandatory for the man to get a DNA test before he signs a birth certificate, but now they're like, look, you're not going to be able to get any money off of this man if he was not actively, long-term, a part of your everyday life.
Oh, yeah, it's true, too. And if I could add on to this bill, you know what? If all these fathers are paying these high amounts in child support, why not give the child to the father? Yeah, that's coming, too. I mean, what you think?
I'm going to be honest enough to admit that a man would probably be more capable of raising a child on his own than a woman.
So now the paternity fraud is a crime, which is about time. I don't know about all states, but yes, about time that it is starting to take hold. Imagine going to jail because you tried to pull off the pin the baby on the sucker game. What's next? Hookup culture dying out because you can't change a man for a one-night stands baby? Finally some sense in this upside down world. Men are forced to pay child support for kids that aren't even theirs. Why not hand over full custody to the men instead? In fact is single fathers are statistically more successful at raising a child than single mothers. But yeah, let's keep pretending otherwise.
We're not going to make this about gender because I've seen both sides do it, but if family court orders you to partake in a paternity test and you refuse to cooperate, they do have the authority to issue a warrant for your arrest and send you to jail. So just keep that in mind.
Where from?
Now, I don't see how it is going to affect the woman unless she doesn't produce the child for the paternity test. That's the only spot I could see it. So you refuse a paternity test and suddenly you're doing time behind bars? Yeah, that's going to suck. Let me grab my popcorn because women's group are going to call it unfair because it shows we don't trust women. And I wonder why. If the system wasn't built on trust in unicorns, we wouldn't have the need to DNA test anyone. But guys, be ready to be dragged through the mud while she's playing pick a daddy. I mean, that makes perfect sense. And if you think the courts will have your back, think again.
From 5 to 30% of the general population, men are raising and paying for children that are not theirs and don't know. According to the American Association of Blood Banks, between 25 and 30% of the males who are accused of being the father, they take a paternity test and find out they did not do it.
Are you for mandatory DNA testing at birth?
I am absolutely on record as saying that if we want to prevent the problem of having men challenge paternity later down the road, then let's apply a proactive solution. Automatic DNA testing at birth would work to help two things. One, we would assure that the right parents were named on the birth certificate. Two, it would stop paternity fraud and take the profit out of paternity fraud.
But so many women's groups say this wouldn't be fair. You're acting like you don't trust the mother. Why do you think they say that?
It's a red herring. It takes away from the focus of, well, who's the one person who has all of the information about potential fathers or the paternity candidates? It is the child's mother. And currently, in most places, she has no duty to disclose that, well, wait a minute. Well, my husband's not really my child's father. My boyfriend is. Like, well, wait, lady. But you're married. You forgot that you were married?
So let's talk the real numbers. 30% of men are unknowingly raising kids that aren't theirs. And that is going on out there. Wrap your head around that. Imagine spending 18 years of your life funding someone else's DNA project. But hey, don't ask for the DNA test at birth because that's offensive to the mother. And the same mom who might be splitting time between husband, boyfriend, and probably the milkman. But sure, trust is the foundation here, right? Anyways, guys, what we have learned today. Systems rigged against men, and yet women get all the sympathy. Whether it's lying about a paternity test or pinning a kid on some guy who just happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, the courts and society don't bat an eyelid at this. And now with paternity fraud finally being recognized as a crime, maybe, just maybe, men will stop getting shafted for being too trusting. Who am I kidding? The game is still rigged, but at least now they'll lock up the occasional fraudster. Slow progress, but at least it's something. Well, that's the end of the video, guys. If you like what you've seen today, hit that like button, share, subscribe. Leave a comment down below what you think or if you've experienced any type of paternity fraud. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.